All right, everybody. All right, we're good to go. Stream is up. We're fired up. Hello, everybody. Check into the stream. Haven't seen you guys in a few days because of the holiday weekend, but here we are. Night 97 of coverage of the war in Ukraine. I'm your host, Andy Mercado, and you are tuned in to Mercado Media on YouTube and Facebook. I hope you did have a nice Memorial Day weekend if you're in the United States. It was a weekend of remembrance of any of our lost soldiers or those that have put their lives on the line and lost it in the line of duty for the United States. So we celebrated that this weekend here. So if you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, comment in the chat what you did this weekend. If you're outside of the United States, I still hope you had a fantastic weekend. I just took a couple days off just to reset and get recuperated. Here we go. So you can follow along in the chat here in our description. Russian invasion, night 97. Russians hit Sloviansk with Iskander missiles, killing 3 people and wounding 6. The missile attack occurred on May 31st and damaged a school at least 7 residential buildings, according to Pavlo Kyrylenko, the governor of the Donetsk Oblast. Russian forces fired at a chemical plant in Severodonetsk. As a result of the shelling, a tank with nitric acid exploded. The head of the Luhansk regional administration, Serhiy Haidai, urges citizens not to leave their shelters and close all windows. Italian Prime Minister: big EU countries except Italy are against Ukraine's candidate status. However, Ukraine's rapid move towards the EU cannot be ruled out, and it seems to me that the European Commission also agrees with this view. Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi said on May 31st. State Emergency Service discovers 4 bodies under the rubble of a building hit in February. A Russian missile hit a 16-story residential building in Kharkiv on February 28th, destroying 6 apartments. Ukraine will not rush to deoccupy temporarily occupied territories if it requires tens of thousands of victims, but will wait for the necessary weapons, says President Zelensky. The United States will not send Ukraine rocket systems that can reach Russia, President Joe Biden said on Monday, as the besieged country pushes for a longer-range weapon systems to help in its fight. Ukrainian officials have been asking allies for longer-range weapon systems, including the Multiple Launch Rocket System, or MLRS, that can fire a barrage of rockets hundreds of miles away. We're not going to send to Ukraine rocket systems that's... let me read that again. We're not going to send to Ukraine rocket systems that strike into Russia, Biden told reporters after arriving back at the White House after a weekend in Delaware. Belarus to start military drills under Ukrainian borders in June. Belarusian military official Andrei Krozanov said that starting on June 22nd, Belarus will hold military exercises on the Gomel Oblast near the Ukrainian border. Polish president accuses Germany of breaking arms promises. Berlin promised Poland Leopard tanks to replace the ones it had transferred to Ukraine. However, according to Die Welt, the German government has not kept its word, and said Polish President Andrzej Duda. U.S. President Biden will meet Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Tuesday as historic inflation continues to drain Americans' pocketbooks. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, White House reportedly stated it will provide Ukraine with defensive weapons only. Linda Thomas Greenfield said the U.S. had been clear that it would provide Ukraine with defensive weapons, but not the ones that would allow reaching targets inside of Russia. Touching on some world news outside of Ukraine before we dig into the update in Ukraine. Sunday, President Biden and the First Lady grieved with families in Uvalde, Texas. The memorial outside Robb Elementary is ever growing. The victims' families continue on the long road to healing with visitations and funerals beginning this week. U.S. Justice Department is to review law enforcement's response to the shooting. Congressman Joaquin Castro is joining a push to demolish Robb Elementary in Uvalde and build a new place for students to learn. Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger of Illinois said that he's open to supporting a federal ban on AR-15 rifles, saying his position on the issue has changed in the wake of the mass shooting at a Texas elementary school last week. Canada's Prime Minister announced proposed legislation on Monday that would put a national freeze on importing, buying, or selling handguns. The legislation would also allow for removal of gun licenses from people involved in acts of domestic violence or criminal harassment. According to the Associated Press, the government is also aiming to combat smuggling, or excuse me, to combat gun smuggling and trafficking. I had a few Canadian viewers actually send me that story today, so I wanted to include it in our description. I will keep an eye on it. I will keep an eye on that update as well as the updates in Uvalde, Texas. Again, hit that like button, smash those reactions. Make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Make sure you're following the page on Facebook. We're live every night during the weeknights at 8 p.m. Central Time covering the war, and I'll be live during the daytime around noon just covering breaking news stories. I was just waiting today for the verdict for the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, but that didn't happen. So tomorrow I'm going to wait again. I'm probably going to do some type of a stream while we wait, because I was just kind of tied down to that all day waiting for the verdict to come out, and it never did. So look for news coverage around noon during the weekdays, and then this war coverage is every night at 8 p.m. I'm an independent journalist, U.S. Army veteran. We've been covering this war since night one, since the invasion began. So I do thank all the viewers that have stuck around for nearly 100 days of coverage. You know, I've been gone for a week or so, a couple days, personal stuff, but I thank you guys so much for sticking with it every single night. Shout out to our members, shout out to everybody that comments in the chat and supports and engages in the stream. With that being said, we'll be back after the short intro. Comment where you're tuned in from, what city, what state, where in the world, and I'll be back after the short intro. All right, again, everybody, thank you again so much for supporting independent media and Mercado Media. I'm your host, Daniel Mercado. Night 97 covering this war in Ukraine, and let's get into it. You got the war, you got the map on your screen. Oh, I think I froze there for a second. This is the map of Ukraine, just going over some of the updates to what it looks like. This is Crimea, this Crimean Peninsula, which has been annexed since 2014, so it's going to have a dark red line around it, including Luhansk and Donetsk over here in the Donbass to the east of Ukraine. That's going to have a dark red line around it because it's been occupied since 2014. The lighter red shaded regions have been occupied since the start of the invasion on 24 February. All right, you can see some of the areas outside of the dark red have been gained since the invasion here, including around the area of Popasna. I almost said Popsana. Damn it, Rob. I almost said Popsana. But as you guys can see, some of the ground gained, especially south and to the west of Izium, we're going to be talking about that as well. Some of the other things to keep an eye on is this dark shaded gray region, which is territory liberated from Russian forces. Some of the icons you can see are some of these missile-looking icons. These are artillery shellings from Russia. The explosion is more shelling icons. The other icons you can see on your screen are blue. They are from Ukraine. So these are announcements from Ukrainian government. These ones that look like targets are air raid alarms that have gone off during the day on our map. Share the stream out if you guys have not done so. Spam those reactions. I'm going to read out the entire latest update in Ukraine per the Study of War, the Institute for the Study of War. I like to find news and updates that have the least amount of opinions related to them on what people or lobbyists or experts think could happen, and I like to share news with what happened, if that makes sense. Like day to day, there are things that happened in that day, and that's what I cover. I don't sit and I do sometimes. I guess I'll reflect or analyze some certain things within this coverage, and I guess predict in a way of something that might happen based off of something that we've seen in the news, or something tangible that we can guess in the future might happen based upon an action in the present. So I really do here on this coverage try to just give you exactly where the Russians are, where the Ukrainians are. If the Russians have gained territory, if they've gained towns and villages within Ukraine, what if they haven't, that's basically what this coverage is. And then we go into the war clips and footage straight from Ukraine. All right, so that's how this works. Russian offensive campaign assessment based upon May 31st, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. This was written. Moscow's concentration on seizing Severodonetsk and Donbass generally continue to create vulnerabilities for Russia and Ukraine's vital Kherson Oblast, where Ukrainian counteroffensives continue. So we have more counteroffensives. I'm going to put this on. More counteroffensives in Kherson. More Ukrainian counteroffensives between Mykolaiv and Kherson. You can already see many of the territories and villages have been liberated from Russian forces. Kherson is a critical terrain because it is the only area of Ukraine in which Russian forces hold ground on the west bank of the Dnipro River. If Russia is able to retain a strong lodgment in Kherson when fighting stops, it will be a very strong position from which to launch a future invasion. If Ukraine regains Kherson, on the other hand, Ukraine will be in a much stronger position to defend itself against a future Russian attack. This strategic calculus should in principle lead Russia to allocate sufficient combat power to hold Kherson, but Russian President Vladimir Putin has chosen instead to concentrate all of the forces and resources that can be scrapped together in a desperate and bloody push to seize areas of eastern Ukraine that will give him largely symbolic gains. Continuing successful Ukrainian counteroffensives in Kherson indicate that Ukraine's commanders recognize these realities and are taking advantage of the vulnerabilities that Putin's decisions have created. All right, that's Kherson. So I'm going to move on the map everywhere I'm talking about so you get an idea. So I'm going to zoom out. All right, so here's a map of Ukraine. We're down here to the south at Kherson, between Kherson and Mykolaiv. Oh, where are we at here? The Ukrainian leadership has apparently wisely avoided matching Putin's mistaken prioritization. Kyiv could have committed more reserves and resources to the defense of Severodonetsk. All right, let's go to Severodonetsk. That's over in the east. That's in the Donbass. All right, give you an idea here. Severodonetsk. There's a bunch of icons over it. Lots have been happening. Half the city's been captured. All right, so Severodonetsk, it's in this cauldron. If you haven't noticed, it's a common technique with the Russian forces, how they it's like a U-shaped, or like it's a cauldron. They've used that term frequently. They got one here in Severodonetsk and Lysychansk. They have one in here for Zolote, trying to capture this town. There's a little pocket in here as well too. If you want to count this pocket, they cut them out. They cut off all the ways out, all ground lines of communication, all of their all of the way out except for one way to the west. All ways to the south and to the east and even to the north. They're trying to restrict that of all the cities within the white space here in the Donbass, creating that little cauldron like. And again, you can find that in many pockets. In Toshivka, same thing, little pocket here. Zolote, little pocket. Here in the Severodonetsk, you got the big pocket in here, the overall giant pocket in here. Got a pocket in Pravilia, same deal, this little cauldron technique. Anyways, and continuing on here, the Ukrainian leadership is apparently wisely avoiding matching Putin's mistaken prioritization. Kyiv could have committed more reserves and resources to the defense of Severodonetsk, and its failure to do so has drawn criticism. Ukrainian forces are now apparently withdrawing from Severodonetsk rather than fighting to the end, a factor that has allowed the Russians to move into the city relatively rapidly after beginning their full-scale assault. Both the decision to avoid committing more resources to saving Severodonetsk and the decision to withdraw from it were strategically sound, however painful. Ukraine must husband its more limited resources and focus on regaining critical terrain rather than defending ground whose control will not determine the outcome of the war or the conditions for the renewal of the war. So it's like they're going for big picture gains instead of small. I mean, they'd likely be able to get this back later on, so they're gonna, in a sense, let Russia take it, so that way they can focus their efforts elsewhere where they're more needed to get bigger gains with the Ukraine's counteroffensive push here. So again, it does suck having to like give up a city, but it's you're fighting a war here, and they have to focus their counterattacks where they'll be most useful, or where the Ukrainian counterattacks will be most impactful in terms of liberating more villages and territory here. So again, yeah, it's a suck situation. It's war. Sound Ukrainian prioritization of counteroffensive and defensive operations pushed the Russians almost out of artillery range of Kharkiv city and have stopped the Russian advances from Izium. So let's go up here. That's Kharkiv city and Izium. Here's Izium on our map. And then Kharkiv city is even further to the north. So let's talk about that. Now we're here, and now I'm just going to zoom out just to give you an idea where we're at. Okay, we're still in the east, we're still in the Donbass, we're just north. We're north now of would be northwest of Severodonetsk. Ukraine's leadership has had to make incredibly difficult choices in this war and has generally made the right ones, at least at the level of strategic prioritization and in the pace, scale, and ambitiousness of its counteroffensives. That is why Ukraine still has a good chance to stop, then reverse the gains Russia is currently making. So that's why we're going to talk about it. Some of these gains that Russia is getting in these villages, and they're getting more territory, it might be temporary. It might be one of them little, like a crypto pump and dump scheme type thing. And then Ukrainians they regroup, and their commanders are way better. They're better trained. They can operate these counteroffensives way better. They have better communication. So they're taking minimal losses right now. It's like, what's the phrase? Seeing the forest for the trees. They're taking these little losses in these villages for the bigger counterattacks in the long run. Russian forces are likely attempting to exploit Belarusian equipment reserves to compensate for heavy material losses in Ukraine. The Ukrainian General Staff reported on May 31st that Belarusian forces are moving tanks and infantry vehicles from storage facilities in Belarus. Let's go up there now. Now we're in Belarus. That's right directly north of Ukraine. I'll just do that. There you go. There's Belarus. Belarusian forces are moving tanks and infantry vehicles from storage facilities in Belarus to Russia to replenish combat losses. This report corroborates previous reporting that Russian forces have largely exhausted their own reserves and indicates that the Kremlin is still leveraging its influence over Belarus in order to use Belarusian equipment. And then this is another thing to keep an eye on too. That's been very interesting, and I've talked about it in these updates, the last few updates, and I've seen video too now. Like there's Kremlin politicians that are in their little parliament or whatever their sessions are, speaking out against the war, dude. But these pro-Russian mill bloggers are against what the Russians are doing. They're for the invasion, they are for the war, but they're against how the Kremlin is going about it. So in a backward way. Some pro-Russian mill bloggers began to capture the frustrating realities of limited warfare, which may further intensify societal tensions in Russia. Pro-Russian political figures and self-proclaimed People's Governor of Donetsk Oblast, Pavel Gubarev, said that the limited mobilization of forces for war have divided Russian society into two groups. A small proportion that is involved in the war and the peacetime Russians who distance themselves from war effort and are inconvenienced by foreign sanctions. So that's the two different types here. Pro-Russian political figure and self-proclaimed People's Governor of Donetsk Oblast. This is coming from Donetsk. I'll zoom in on that so you get an idea. Yeah, Luhansk and Donetsk. Again, these two oblasts, or these two cities, I should say, not the entire oblast, have been occupied since 2014. And then Vladimir Putin gave the two cities their independence, but right immediately before the invasion. Pavlo Gubarev said that limited mobilization of Russians for war has divided Russian society into two groups. A small proportion that is involved in the war, and the peacetime Russians who distance themselves from the war effort and are inconvenienced by foreign sanctions. Gubarev blamed the peacetime Russians for failing to start collecting donations for Russian equipment, while criticizing the Kremlin for increasing propaganda about Russian successes during the special military operation in Ukraine. Gubarev also blamed the peacetime Russians for slowing down rotation rates due to fear of conscription. Gubarev noted that mass mobilization could resolve the divide in society, but opined that Russian commanders will not order such a mobilization to avoid mass casualties of unprepared conscripts as occurred. He notes, in the Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics, LNR and DNR, listen, you can conscript people all you want. Like, it worked in World War II because it was like you just had to throw as many people as you could at the machine gun fire, basically. Especially in like Stalingrad, they had one person carried a rifle, one person had a rifle, another person had carried some magazines, a couple clips in their hand, and if the dude with the rifle died, dude with the clips picked up the rifle, loaded it, and carried on. Like, you just ran in. Like, that's what happened in Stalingrad in Russia. These conscripts now, the amount of training, listen, it costs like $30,000 to train one United States soldier, to send them through basic training. Then that's on like a mids job. That's not counting like some expensive ass jobs that you got to go to school for like a year for training. Like, I'm talking big money per soldier, per person, training money. It takes lots of training to become a soldier, and like basic soldiering skills and how to be in the military. You can't just throw people into a uniform, especially in this type of a war where you're on your cell phone or whatever doing videos and you can get it geolocated, tracked, and bam, you got a drone over your head dropping a mortar on you. You can't do that. And people, like, you can't put someone like a civilian in a military uniform, especially in this one, and expect them to succeed. And that's what some of these even pro-Russian mill bloggers and pro-war Russians are saying as well. They're obviously saying it for different reasons. They want to increase the amount of soldiers that they have, but they're not going to, because they keep conscripting them and they're not actually getting trained. Gubarev is accurately capturing a phenomenon that is normal in a limited war that nevertheless generates high casualties. Resentment by those fighting in such a war and their families against those who are untouched by the horrors of combat can grow even in an all-volunteer professional military, as Western countries experienced during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. Fact. It is unlikely to be even more pronounced in Russia, whose military relies so heavily on conscripts and involuntary recalled reservists. This resentment can erode morale and will to fight, as well as a propensity to volunteer for military service. So not only does it kill the morale of the conscripts you have, it's like, who's going to even want to enlist in the first place? Who'd want to enlist? No one's going to want to. No one would volunteer to enlist into the Russian military. Not a single one. Meanwhile, the United States military is all volunteers, all volunteer military. You'd see a big difference for sure. I can only speak because I served in the U.S. Army, so I know from that experience. I don't know about other countries. Russian citizens continue to conduct a series of. I served alongside other countries, and they seemed, not morale was up for the Canadians. Australian morale, they seem pretty good. Russian Telegram channel, Baza reported that the Russian Federal Security Service arrested a former Moscow artist and opposition figure, Ilya Farber, for Molotov cocktail attacks on military recruitment centers in Udmurtia on the Urals on May 21st. A Russian court had previously sentenced Farber to an 8-year prison sentence for a bribery case. The case gained Farber significant support from Russian opposition leaders. Farber admitted to committing arson in court on May 30th. Baza also reported 2 more attacks on recruitment centers in Semiropol and Tula Oblast on May 21st and May 31st. So you got more Russian citizens conducting attacks on these military recruitment centers. It's happening. It's been more and more happening. These conscription centers in Russia. You got people making Molotov cocktails and throwing them at the buildings. Key takeaways from everything that I just said, and we'll get into it a little deeper here for each of the objectives that the Russian military has. Russian forces are increasingly focused on advancing on Sloviansk from the southeast of Izium and west of Liman. So that's here on our map. Sloviansk and west of Liman. Here, that's in this region, excuse me. Here's Liman. Russian forces have gained more territory in that ground. What was I live last on the 26th? Yeah, the 26th was the last stream I did, and they were only to this line here. They were only to the railhead. Excuse me. Now you can see they've expanded a little further out since then, 4 days ago. So Sloviansk, Liman, Izium. This little trifecta of cities here. Liman, Sloviansk, Izium. Russian forces are making gains within and around Severodonetsk. Go a little bit further to the east. Here's Severodonetsk. You can see that they have about half of the city at this time. Again, the red is Russian occupied territory within Ukraine. So they have about half of Severodonetsk. Russian forces are likely hoping to advance on Lysychansk from Tochivka in order to avoid having to fight across the Seversky Donetsk River from Severodonetsk. Is this the Seversky Donetsk River? Might have to look that one up really quick. Here's Lysychansk. Let's look up the Seversky Donetsk River. Where is it exactly? That river has already taken out a lot of Russian vehicles. Or not the river, but the attempted cross. It is that river right next to Severodonetsk. Okay. It is this river here. The river that runs through it between Lysychansk and Severodonetsk. I'm going to zoom in a little bit further. So this river. Runs right in between Severodonetsk and Lysychansk in the Donbass. The Russian grouping in Kherson Oblast. All right. Go down to Kherson. The Russian grouping in Kherson Oblast is likely feeling the pressure of the limited Ukrainian counteroffensive in northern Kherson Oblast, especially as much of the Russian operational focus is currently on the capture of Severodonetsk. So Kherson, the Russians are like, Ukraine has a strong chance. Like right now, is like the time to gain as much territory for Ukraine as possible here in Kherson, between Mykolaiv and Kherson, because all of the Russian effort, the Russian focus is here. Capturing Severodonetsk and cities and villages in this little cauldron in the Donbass. They want to finish off capturing the rest of Luhansk, the Luhansk Oblast, and then start working on Donetsk. They want all of this. Russia wants all of this here, and then they want to annex it. They're doing that so if you've been tuned in, if you understand that Crimea has been annexed since 2014 / occupied, as well as Donetsk and Luhansk, that same exact method and strategy is what Russia's doing or are going to try to do in Kherson, Mariupol, Melitopol, and then and Kharkiv as well. But me personally, just based upon reading the Ukrainian counteroffensives, and they're retaking villages and they're encircling the Russians near the border. I personally don't think Russia has a chance on Kharkiv at this time in the war. That's why they're focusing most of their effort here in like the central region of the Donbass. But we'll talk about that here. That is another one of their objectives is Kharkiv, but that's failing. They're not doing. They're getting artillery strikes, consistent artillery strikes in Kharkiv, which are again are at civilian targets. So let's go here. So the main effort is Eastern Ukraine. This is for the Russian forces. Comprised of subordinate and 3 supporting efforts. Subordinate main effort, encirclement of Ukrainian troops in the cauldron between Izium and Donetsk and Luhansk Oblasts. Supporting effort 1, Kharkiv city. Supporting effort 2 is the southern axes. All right, and then we'll go into each one of those main efforts, subordinate main effort, and supporting efforts. The main effort, Eastern Ukraine. Russian forces continued to group and prepare for renewed offensives in Izium and made minor unsuccessful attacks towards Sloviansk on May 31st. So let's zoom in here. So we're talking about Izium and Sloviansk. Izium is the city to the top of the screen, to the top of the map, and Sloviansk is to the bottom. Okay. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that Russian forces attempted to attack Dovenki, 20 kilometers south of Izium. Dovenki. Here, right outside of, look at how small this village is. Right outside of the red, which is again Russian occupied territory. It's got the blip on it. That's Dovenki. 20 kilometers south of Izium, but were unsuccessful. Russian forces additionally shelled Ukrainian positions to the southwest and southeast of Izium and struck Dovenki. Vernopilia, Husrivka, and Velka Komya-Hushavka in order to prepare for resumed offensives. A Russian telegram channel claimed that Russian forces are fighting in Borodinchny, Sverodonetsk, and Shurov. I bet you guys didn't miss me trying to pronounce these city names. Settlements between the southeast of Izium and northwest of Sloviansk. So looking at the same region here. Russian forces are additionally pushing westward towards Sloviansk from the Liman area. A Russian telegram channel indicated that Russian forces now control the road through Ryahodork and are advancing westward from Ryahodork and eastward from Izium to drive on Sloviansk. And again, we've been reading how important these ground lines of communication and cutting them off have been to the Russian military. Russian forces continued ground assaults in and around Severodonetsk on May 31st. Let's move over here. So here's Severodonetsk now. Russian forces, including Chechen units, now control up to 70% of the city. So even though, okay, so the map reflects a little about 50%. So this report is saying 70%. And continue to make gains within the city center. Ukrainian troops are reportedly withdrawing from the center of the city. Head of Luhansk Regional State Administration, Serhiy Haidai, stated that Russian forces will begin clearing the villages around Severodonetsk in the coming days, likely in order to support the encirclement of the south of Severodonetsk. Russian advances north of Toshivka are likely intended to support the capture of Lysyansk and would allow Russian forces to advance on Lysyansk from the south as opposed to fighting westward across the Severodonetsk River from Severodonetsk. Russian forces failed to advance across the Severodonetsk River from Bilohorivka and are likely eager to avoid another costly river crossing. So that river has been a pain in the ass for the Russians. They got destroyed. If you've seen I know most of y'all that tune into the war saw the video clip of all the vehicles along the riverbank and even in the river. That was the Donetsk River. It hasn't fared the Russians well trying to cross that thing. Russian forces continued ground assaults to the east of Bakhmut on May 31st. Come on, I had this one memorized. Oh dear. There's Bakhmut. There it is. Okay. Found it. So I'm going to zoom out and zoom in so you guys know where we're at. So we're talking about Bakhmut. We're still in the Donbass. And I lost it again. What the heck? Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. All right, so here's Severodonetsk. Here's Lysychansk. Here is Bakhmut. Super zoomed in, so you can see it. Learn new cities. It's to the west of Popasna. Russian forces continued ground assaults to the east of Bakhmut on May 31st. The Ukrainian General Staff stated that Russian troops are fighting in Zolote, Komyashuavka, Nirkov, Berestov, Pokrovsky, and Dolomitny, all settlements along the eastern arc of Bakhmut. Russian forces likely intend to keep pushing to gain access to the Ukrainian ground lines of communication to the northeast of Bakhmut to support their seizure of the Severodonetsk-Lysychansk area. Russian forces reportedly made incremental gains near the Donetsk-Zaporizhia Oblast border and took control of Blahodatny and Nesk-Ukshin. Russian troops additionally claim to have made marginal gains north of Donetsk City in the direction of New York, and reportedly took control of Novoselivka Druha on May 31st. Marginal gains. So I'll show you. This is a good map from them. I'm gonna put that up on the big screen here. That highlights the regions, and this is what I'm reading. It's a big report. This report basically consolidates all of the postings, all of the social media postings in one day. They do a really good job. So these are the significant fighting in the past 24 hours is with the green, has the green around it. So you guys get a really good idea here. This is here's Izium, Severodonetsk, and Popasna. All right, really good map. You got the green circles are significant fighting in the past 24 hours. You got the red is assessed Russian-controlled Ukrainian territory. And you got reported Ukrainian partisan warfare is the blue lines. The dark red lines are Russian-controlled Ukrainian territory before the 24th of February. You got claimed Russian control over Ukrainian territory. That's the yellow. That's the newer territory. You got assessed Russian advances in Ukraine. That's the lighter shaded red with the dotted lines. I'll zoom in even further. And then claimed Ukrainian counteroffensives are blue. There we go. Super zoom. So Izium, Severodonetsk, Popasna, significant fighting in the past 24 hours here in the Donbass. Supporting effort number 1, Kharkiv City. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to Kharkiv. Here we are. It's in the northeast of Ukraine. Not the furthest northeast, but it's towards the northeast. Russian forces continued to fire on Kharkiv City and its environs, did not make any confirmed advances on May 31st. The Ukrainian General Staff noted that Russian grouping in this area is comprised of elements of the Western Military District, which are focusing on preventing further Ukrainian advances towards the international border. Head of Kharkiv Regional State Administration Oleg Subaganov stated that Russian forces conducted artillery strikes against Ochtyanovitsky and Kievsky districts of Kharkiv City, Koroch, Udi, Zoloshev, and Shalovosky. So that is the latest. Did not make any confirmed advances. So again, there's nothing new here in Kharkiv. You still have the Russian unit that's near the border that the Ukrainians are trying to cut off. Nothing new to update from the supporting effort number 1, which is Kharkiv City. Just continued air raid alarms and shellings on civilian infrastructure. Supporting effort number 2 is the southern axes. That's Kherson and Zaporizhia Oblast. So that's taking us to the south, north of the Crimean Peninsula. Kherson, and then not the city of Zaporizhia, but the Oblast, which extends south into Russian-occupied territory. So when you hear Zaporizhia, it's not the city. The city is still under Ukrainian control, but the Oblast, which is like county, if you will, that extends south, and that is in Russian. Russians actually occupy some of the Zaporizhia Oblast. All right. Ukrainian forces continue to counteroffensive in northwestern Kherson Oblast on May 31st and are pushing Russian forces east of the Inhulets River. Ukrainian forces launched several localized counterattacks west of the Inhulets River in the past few days. Ukraine's Office of Strategic Communications published images of destroyed Russian artillery equipment in Davydiv Brid, an operationally significant settlement that sits astride the Russian-controlled T-2207 highway. The T-2207 highway loops around the northeastern Kherson Oblast boundary until it connects with the parallel T-0403 highway to Kryvyi Rih and Zaporizhia in the east. Russian forces have struggled to consolidate control over the eastern segment of the T-2207 due to Ukrainian counteroffensives in the area. The Ukrainian counteroffensive on Devdi Brid could hinder Russia's ability to support units north of the settlement where they face Ukrainian counteroffensives from further north. Let's look that up really quick. Davydiv Brid. I haven't heard of that one yet. Davydiv Brid, here it is. Small village. It's to the northeast of the city of Kherson. So here's what we're looking at on our war map. Mykolaiv, Kherson. Alright, Mykolaiv, Kherson. And then we're gonna click, bang. There's Davdi Brid. Ukraine's Office of Strategic Communications published images of destroyed Russian artillery equipment there. Russian forces struggled to consolidate control over the eastern segment of the T-2207 due to Ukrainian counteroffensives in the area. So they had a big counteroffensive in this village. Destroyed Russian artillery equipment, which is huge. Northeast of Kherson in the Kherson Oblast in the Russian-occupied region. Is this Davdi? Is this the town here? Oh, and it looks like, according to our map here, that it is liberated. So they got that city back here. This is liberated region. Territories liberated from Russian forces. Latest update on the 31st. So not only did they destroy that position, that artillery position, they liberated the territory. Keeping an eye on that. The Russian prioritization of the Battle of Severodonetsk and the Donbass offensive operation continues to create vulnerabilities in the critical terrain of the Kherson Oblast for the Russian soldiers. So all of this region here is going to start getting, I guess, like I said, the Ukrainian counteroffensive is very important here. Now is the time for the Ukrainians, if they're going to make moves and start getting villages and territory back, it's now, while the Russian focus is over here. There's lots of vulnerable territory and region now on the southern axes in Kherson, as they've moved their forces to get these gains here in the east. So while you might see some more red over here, you might see more blue in the gray of the territory liberated here to the south. So it's like we said earlier, even though they're making incremental gains in the east, Ukrainian counteroffensives are getting territory back as well in different regions here to the northeast in Kharkiv and in the southern axes. So it's like it's still very much a war of attrition, and it's like a stalemate. If you're only looking at the east, if you're only focusing on the east, it would look like Russia's winning right now in this part of the war. But if you look at all of it, you can see here in the southern axes in Kherson, just based upon the updates, and in the northeast in Kharkiv, Ukraine's getting back territories too, just not in Donbass. So luckily, we'll be staying updated on that and seeing how the counteroffensives continue in Kherson, and if the Ukrainians continue to take back villages here. But it is very important to keep up on the southern axes and in the Kharkiv area and region, as this Russian unit and these Russian units are still near the border getting cut off as well. All right, so that's the update on all of the military movements and changes on the map in Ukraine. Thank you guys again so much for supporting Mercado Media. Again, I'm Andrew Mercado. I'm your host of the war. That was a lot of talking. I need a water break really quick. Go ahead and comment. We got Arkansas tuned in. I haven't looked at the chat one time. I have not looked at the chat a single time since I've started. But that is the map. Now we're going to start getting into some video that backs some of this stuff up. We go into a bunch of video clips of the day, the newest clips from Rob Lee on Twitter, who consolidates all of them in one nice timeline. And then the Ukraine war video report on Reddit. So we'll be going down that. But first, we got a video from May 30th from yesterday, from Memorial Day. And again, if you have anybody that served in your family, if you're in the United States and you had a veteran or a loved one that lost their life for serving this country, yesterday was to honor and remember those soldiers. It wasn't Veterans Day, so it wasn't a day to just thank a veteran. It was for those that made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. So thank you to anybody that's tuned in that has any family members that lost their life in the line of duty. All right, so this is from yesterday on Memorial Day. Ukraine war on the front line of the 93rd Brigade. Credit to Sky News. So we're going to be getting into the videos now of the stream. This is credit to Sky News.
We're being taken deep into the Ukrainian forest on the western borders of the Donbass. And the soldiers of the 93rd Brigade are waiting for their orders to strike enemy positions. This is their most potent weapon. She's a 60-year-old veteran, capable of firing multiple rockets at once, but only up to 20 kilometers away, not enough in this war. The younger American version can fire a barrage that reaches hundreds of kilometers. But this is all these soldiers have right now, and they need her. Their orders come in. Suddenly there's action. They know they have to move fast. A Russian position has been spotted on the Izium front. They're trying to hold back the Russian troops from advancing south and attacking the Donbass from yet another front. They take dusty forest roads to avoid detection from drones. If they're spotted, they will definitely be targeted.
So yeah, Ukrainians using a multiple launch rocket system truck here.
Line up their barrage of rockets and adjust the targets. These grads are not precision weapons. They can fire a full load of 40 122mm rockets over a wide area in under 20 seconds. They recheck the coordinates. This time they've decided to split the attack into 2 salvos, so he instructs them to launch the second 20. This is what the Russians have a lot of and which the Ukrainians want to see more of.
Yeah, I hope she gets awards after this for her reporting. She's been like in the middle. She's gotten like artillery shelled in Mariupol. She's been all over Ukraine.
They say will make all the difference in the war. We've got to move quickly now.
They have to get out of the area because they know the Russians.
And not Brian Williams sniper fire either, not fake shit. Like she's been, like, there's been so many Sky News reports. This journalist in the middle of it.
We've got to move quickly now.
They have to get out of the area because they know the Russians will be looking to fire on this position and obliterate the crew. This is what they're up against. The Ukrainian government says this shows the Russians using thermobaric bombs on the Donbass. This is what the most horrific war of the 21st century looks like, the statement said. The Ukrainian troops on the front line are horrifyingly exposed.
She's been in Mosul too. I apologize. You got to realize, prior to this, I haven't gone into like world news. Like I wasn't into it, so I'm learning different news from around the world. So apparently, she's done lots of work in Mosul and other wars as too. Gonna keep an eye out for sure.
To defend large stretches of open land and keep an enemy at bay who they are rarely close enough to see. The Russians are using their long-range artillery to constant devastating effect.
The smoke that you can see there shows the Russian positions. It's a village which is half controlled by the Ukrainians and half by the Russians.
Chief is asking his troops what the situation's like there. They've been shelled an hour or so earlier. This small band of men have been holding this position for weeks now, coming under constant attack every few hours from Russian positions.
Oh, here we go. N-law.
They proudly show us some of the foreign weapons which have helped so far.
Where's this one from?
It's from Britain. They're designed to destroy tanks at short range with a single shot, and they need little training to operate. But here in the forest and farmland, its capability is limited, Ivan tells us. In this position, it isn't that effective, he says, because their tanks don't come closer than 3.5 kilometers, and this weapon can't reach the target at that distance effectively. They need long-range artillery and tanks themselves, he says, if they're to stop this reinvigorated Russian invasion.
Yeah, you can see them in the distance.
They've had some crucial successes, though, recently, somehow managing to stop several Russian tanks from crossing the dam just in front of them. And planting a Ukrainian flag to emphasize this territory is still very much theirs for now.
Wow, like a tank graveyard out there. Look at that.
But there've been some tough sacrifices. They're only just recovering from their latest attack. They lost 4 of their comrades here. There's just a single helmet on the spot where they fell, a constant reminder of what they've lost and how slim the division is between surviving here and not. Then distant sounds of incoming fire. The shelling started again now, he says.
Okay, here there's lots of incoming now.
Hurry, she tells us. The Ukrainians are finding it hard to stop the Russian troops here as they use their scorched earth tactics to snatch territory in the Donbass. They're busily moving tanks and other hardware to the shifting front lines in the east, but the numbers are not in their favor. Alex Crawford, Sky News, Eastern Ukraine.
I'm wondering if there's going to be... Oops. I'm wondering if there's anybody giving reports to the south in Kherson or in Kharkiv and report. I know, I mean, again, Russians are gaining territory, are gaining ground and villages to the east in the Donbass, but the Ukrainians are gaining territory in Kharkiv and to the west of Kherson and northwest of Kherson during their counterattacks. So I'm wondering if there's any reporting around there. We'll keep an eye out. So let's go into the war clips. One from yesterday that I didn't see, then we'll go into all of them from today, or a few from yesterday, and then we'll go into the newest ones. Video of a car that was reportedly damaged by an IED yesterday in the city of Melitopol. It's a Russian video. Vehicle hit by an IED. How? Where? What kind of IED? This is in Melitopol. I'll show you where it is on the map. I know they both look the same. Or the name sounds the same. No, this is in Melitopol. Goes right next to the... Alright. Watch that again. Melitopol. Here it is on the map, straight ahead. Okay, here it is in comparison to Mariupol, so you get an idea. So here's Mariupol, southeastern port city. Melitopol is here, right in the pretty much right in the middle of the Russian occupation here to the south. So again, it says video of a car that was damaged by an IED. How? Why? Yo, you don't want to get too lost into the comments. What is this? We got an article. Family of collaborators target of car explosion in Russia-occupied Melitopol. According to propagandists, an explosive device was planted in a manhole and was set off remotely when a car was passing by. The RIA Melitopol said that this could have been the work of Ukrainian partisans. The car was completely destroyed as a result. A family of collaborators sustained injuries. The invaders have not disclosed their names. It is known that the woman has a chest wound, the man has multiple shrapnel wounds to the torso and fractures of both legs. A loud explosion in Melitopol was heard on the morning of May 30th near the Kvartal shopping mall, where the house of collaborator and self-proclaimed governor Yevgeny Belitsky is located. According to the media reports, Yevgenia Zadivska, who works with the invaders, was injured. So you got some resistance in that, because again, Melitopol is in Russia, full-on Russian occupation. So it was an IED set off on a family of pro-Russian collaborators. Wasn't the governor, was it? I just want to make sure here. No, just a family of collaborators. They didn't release their names, so I don't know if they were like in the government in Melitopol or not, but just a family of collaborators. City of Melitopol. Hit the like button if you guys haven't done so to support the stream. And on Facebook, make sure you're following and you're subscribed to the channel for this coverage every night. Alright, next video here. Again, that's the IED. Russian sources are claiming this was a strike on an Italian-made FH-70 155mm howitzer in service with Ukraine. The big explosion. Big explosion there. A Russian strike on an Italian-made howitzer. Video of a Ukrainian Stugna P ATGM strike on a Russian truck. You got a Stugna P video. Russian truck getting blown up. Oh, music. Oh, that was that. That was quick. So you got the strike, and then blown up. Pretty fast, self-explanatory video. All right, what is this here? Video from the Antonov airfield from February 27th. Okay, so it's an old video that just got released. The Russian source claimed Ukraine used quadcopter UAVs to direct artillery fire on Russian forces at the airfield, but they didn't have CUAS EW systems to stop them. So this is from February 27th in the Antonov airfield. Can't believe we've been covering the war since then. There's snow outside. So again, this video is from February 27th. They didn't have the what that CUAS gun is like an anti-drone weapon, or like it can emit radio waves to disable the drone. So it's like a drone gun, if you will. Doesn't really show anything in that video. Destroyed Russian BMP-3 likely due to a mine. There's mines in the ground. Those would be pressure plate mines, right? I couldn't do that job, dude. It would be combat engineers. Y'all know that? Not me. Couldn't be me. No, I'd rather just drive the vehicle and get hit with the inside the vehicle. Y'all can turn them off, disable them. Couldn't be me. You'd be paranoid taking them out. And you take mines, you need at least 150 kilograms to set off. So it is a pressure plate. These TikTok videos usually have music in the background. So you had a bunch of mines, and it said destroyed Russian BMP-3 likely due to a mine. There was a bunch of them. It was a whole minefield. Video of Ukrainian UAVs dropping munitions on a Russian BMP-3 in the Zaporizhia Oblast. And this is the Zaporizhia Oblast. I'll show you where this is on the map. It's not to the east. It's not in the Donbass. Be north of Melitopol. Yeah, they do have a great music selection. If only the social media companies would let us play the music, but you can't. Again, that was the Ukrainian UAVs dropping munitions on Russian BMP-3s in Zaporizhia Oblast. Again, here's Zaporizhia, south of Dnipro, north of Melitopol. That's the city of Zaporizhia, so it's in the Oblast, in the county. Next video, captured Russian BMP-2. One more time on that one. So you got the Z on the Z's on it. So you know it was once a Russian BMP, and then you got the Ukrainian flag. Captured Russian BMP-2. Video of Russian artillery strike likely with the Krasnopol round on a Ukrainian armored vehicle and troops in the Mykolaiv-Kherson area. So it's taking us over here. The Mykolaiv-Kherson area between these two cities on our map. No audio. You can tell it's a Russian video because it's got super high contrast and the least amount of pixels possible. Goodness. Todd, thank you for those. Hello, Panic. You're gonna watch the stream from the start. Sounds good. The DVR should be on. Russian Orlan 10 UAV showing a Russian artillery strike on Ukrainian armored vehicles. That was a direct hit. Again, this is a Russian strike on Ukrainian vehicles. That was a direct hit. Continuing on, Ukraine's 80th Air Assault Brigade published photos showing 3 destroyed BMD-4M vehicles reportedly from the Russian VDV's 104th Air Assault Regiment. More Russian trucks with improvised armor. Got the cope cages on them. Cope cages in effect. Cope armor. I like how he says improvised armor. Rob is nice. He uses improvised armor. Even covering the windows. What do we got here? Russian Spetsnaz reportedly in Lyman. So let's look at Lyman on the map. That's southeast of Izium. And now it's been fully, the entire city's been taken by Russian forces. About 4 days ago, they had it to the railhead, and now they took the rest of the city on the other side. So this is outside, reportedly near Lyman, Russian Spetsnaz. Just walking through the woods. Just walking through. Alright, so you got the Spetsnaz walking through the woods slowly. Russian MSTAS howitzers in the Donbass. I thought that was a still image for a second, I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't tell it was a video at first. Alright, next. Video of Stugna P ATGM strike on a Russian BMP. With some music. Potato quality on this video. Extra potato. Right in the back. Direct hit. And again, Stugna P video on a Russian BMP. Photos of a captured Orlan 10 UAV with the Nokia Nikon D40 camera that they use. That the, what is it? Operator Starsky broke these down and showed how garbage they are. That'd be about a month ago he did that. Operator Starsky breaking that down. Here we got a Putin Putin conferred the guard status. What does this mean? Putin conferred the guard status to the GRU-GU's 24th Spetsnaz Brigade. The brigade reportedly played a key role in the fighting in Lyman. Is this going to be some fighting in Lyman? Putin conferred the guard status to the GRU-GU 79. All right, let's see what it's about.
Стой, там танки, танки, танки. Танки наши. Смотри, наши напорник пошли. Прикрываем наших. Хоть захватили это говно, которое могло бы... А, по нашим пацанам. Оба, прилет. Ну-ка, давай.
Вот такие вот.
Вот он, сука, попался. Слушай, сейчас кушать будет вечерее. Стой, стой, стой!
Okay, so that's fighting in Lyman for the Russians. Night footage from the Orlan 10 UAV, so that's this UAV that you just seen destroyed. Again, or whenever you hear Orlan 10, just think of this destroyed Russian, just think of this destroyed UAV with the red tarp hanging out of it. It's the Orlan 10. Showing multiple launch rocket strikes on Ukrainian positions in the Lyman area. So same area, Lyman. Music to the furthest down it can. I don't think this is copyrighted music. So again, this is Orlan 10 UAVs showing Russian multiple launch rocket strikes on Ukrainian positions in the Lyman area. Here we got video of Russian VDV D-30 howitzers. Russian VDV D-30 howitzers here. This video has like all of the frame rate, dude. They said we want all of the frame rate and put it on this video. Again, you got Russian howitzer units. VDV D-30 howitzers being used by the Russians. VDV 30 howitzers. He said CNN and MSNBC are still saying, well, I wouldn't say Russia's winning. I wouldn't say Ukraine is winning either. Ukraine isn't losing. It's a war of attrition. It's not like Ukraine is losing, but they're not winning either, if that makes sense. Like how could you say that? I mean, if this was a map of the United States and you saw the whole East Coast invaded and occupied by a foreign you know, a foreign country. How could you say United States is winning? But like at the same time, again, it's a little more nuanced than who's winning or who's losing. It's an attrition battle right now over territory. And in the east, in the Donbass, Russia, yeah, they're gaining territory, incremental territory and villages in the east. But at the same time, Ukraine is also regaining territory and counteroffensives in the northeast. Well, the north completely. They got rid of all of the Russians up here. But keep in mind that Belarus is running exercises and could be putting more soldiers on that border. So that would definitely throw an extra wild card into everything going on if Belarus makes a move south from at the border. Because right now the Ukrainian forces I don't think they'd be ready for something like that. But keep in mind that the Ukrainians are regaining their own territory in the south as well, between Mykolaiv and Kherson. So as much as the Russians are gaining ground and incremental gains in the east and the Donbass, the Ukrainians are launching successful counterattacks to the northeast in Kharkiv and to the southern axes in Kherson. So keep that in mind. Russian Ministry of Defense video of Russian Su-25 aircraft in Ukraine. Russian intense military video. Intense noises, intense music. It's kind of like a movie trailer. Movie trailer vibes. Hey Ryan, how you doing? This Top Gun B-roll sucks. All right, Russian video, Russian Ministry of Defense video of Russian Su-25s in Ukraine. That aircraft is a Su-25 jet. So one of their little propaganda videos. Video of a DNR S-60 57mm cannon on the back of a truck, Russian truck. DNR is the Donetsk Republic. That is the Donetsk separatists. You got the LNR and the DNR. They both fight for Russia. 57mm cannon on the back of a truck.
Пушка. Пушка.
Okay, so that's the Donetsk separatists on the S-60 57mm cannon. Yeah, hit that like button if you guys haven't done so. Again, make sure you are subscribed to the channel here on YouTube. Just take a moment if you can and hit that subscribe button just so you get notifications so you know when we go live every night. Orlan 10 UAV footage of a Russian multiple launch rocket system strike. That drone that you saw with the red tarp out of it is taking the video. Very fast, 5 seconds. Russian multiple launch rocket system strikes. Here we got a video of Russian forces using that Orlan 10 UAV in support of a BM-27 Uragan multiple launch rocket system truck.
Орлан-10 считается лучшим в мире. Дальность полета более 100 километров. Он, конечно же, в первую очередь для разведки, но в случае необходимости может не только наводить на цели артиллерию, но и поражать их сам. Ураган на боевых позициях, на развертывании.
Отстрелялись, и нужно сменить огневую позицию, потому что, возможно, ее засекли, и прилетит ответный огонь. Работаем по площадям, по пехоте, по такой же установке, как у нас, по артиллерии.
So again, you got the Russian press, Russian video setting up a UAV. I don't know. It looks like a team all out by itself. This looks like this was set up for the report because they got all of it in one little area. They're in the middle of a field. It's just that truck with her. Yeah, they're doing a report with just that truck and that unit.
В первую очередь для разведки, но в случае необходимости может не только наводить на цели артиллерию, но и поражать их сам.
Out in the middle of the field though, with these UAVs we've been seeing and like the imagery from all of the Ukrainians that
Врага на боевых позициях на развертывание РСЗ уходит пару минут. Сейчас бойцы находятся на цель.
Отстрелялись, и нужно сменить огневую позицию, потому что, возможно, ее засекли, и...
Whatever. All right. Yeah, and that's video of Russian forces using Orlan 10 UAVs in support of BM-27 Uragan multiple launch rocket system. Haha, sure. I'm not gonna, can't even read the comments, dude. Get lost in the comment section. The sniper's name was Alexander for what? Oh, he shows the awards of that. Oh, okay, let's read this. So, well, we follow Rob's reporting and the compiling of information on his Twitter feed. So he posted on May 17th video of Russian Spetsnaz snipers, and I think we've seen this video. Was it just them walking through? Yeah, we watched this, and then that sniper from the video was reportedly killed. So. Sniper from the GU's 22nd Spetsnaz Brigade from this Spetsnaz sniper video has been killed. Name was Alexander Kozlinsky. There he is. There he was. Video of Russian Iskander 9M728 cruise missile launch. That's entirely too loud. Yeah, video from May 17th, but the update that sniper from the video was recent. So the sniper from the video was killed. What on earth is this? You guys see how that thing had? Look at the art. Hold on. Shit opened up like a mech in a boss battle. What was that for a second? It's just the way that they made this video. Again, that's their Iskander 9M728 cruise missile launch from the woods. That's the truck that carries it. You got camo netting on it, some brown looking camo netting. So that's their 9M728 cruise missile launch. I don't know, like I don't know. None of it seems real from them. Wagner private military contractors in Popasna. There's the newest update from them. That's they took over that city center about a month ago now. A little under a month, 3 weeks ago. Popasna, here it is on the map. We've looked into the Wagner private military group. They're like the Russia's equivalent to Blackwater, so not good. Popasna. Video of Russian volunteers, presumably reservists, who signed a contract training before heading to the Donbass, apparently as part of the Pacific Fleet's 155th Naval Infantry Brigade.
Вместе с мужем сражаются за мирное небо над головой. Сам по образованию машинист электропоезда, но семья сплошь потомственный военный. Прадед погиб под Херсоном в 1939-м, дед прошел всю войну. Отец 32 года своей жизни посвятил авиации, а брат готовится пойти по стопам старших. Уже написал рапорт для отправки на Украину.
Смотря по телевизору на это все, понимаешь, что надо им помочь, потому что помощь нужна им. Вот. Даже не знаю, я сам отец 3 детей, и когда сказали то, что набирают добровольцев для участия в военной специальной операции, я, не задумываясь, пошел и написал рапорт, что я поеду туда.
Похожая история и у Александра. Дед и прадед участвовали в Великой Отечественной войне, поэтому признается, что просто не мог поступить иначе.
У меня на душе было очень тяжело, когда я видел, как умирал братский народ, как его гнобили, как над ним издевались. Я хочу им помочь, и я хочу сделать так, чтобы к нам не пришло это горе, чтобы наш народ был свободен.
Whose side was the sniper on? Russia.
Чтобы наш народ смог смеяться и радоваться жизни.
It was a Russian sniper that was killed.
А не быть под обстрелами, не прятаться по подвалам.
Александр всегда мечтал служить в авиации, но защищать страну пойдет в составе пехоты. Говорит, неважно как, главное помочь, и очень хочет, чтобы им гордилась семья. А вот работа Василия в обычной жизни как раз связана с небом, но на Украине будет сражаться на земле. Теперь он пулеметчик, и главная задача – прикрывать взвод.
Еду поддержать братский народ, потому что фашизм надо до конца искоренять. Жена, все близкие друзья знают, не все родственники, поэтому я в балаклаве.
Why does it not even look like Ukraine behind this dude? Unless this is on the Crimean Peninsula. That could be it. It could be doing all these videos in the Crimean Peninsula, but like, doesn't even look like Ukraine behind him. Or not anywhere we've been looking at.
Чтобы, мама не знала, потому что уже возраст у нее, чтобы не нервничала сильно. И все, на работе все знают.
На отправку в зону спецоперации заявились около 300 добровольцев. Подготовку проходит серьезную, в приближенных к боевым условиях. Штурмы, закрепления на высоте, стрельба по городским застройкам и отражение контратаки противника. Навыки, которые им пригодятся в бою, отрабатывают в составе 2 учебных групп, экипажу боевых машин и стрелковый отряд.
Мы проводим интенсивный курс.
Training before heading to the Donbass. Okay, definitely not in Ukraine then. This is training. This is in Russia. Heading to the Donbass as part of the Pacific Fleet's 155th Naval Infantry Brigade. Video of Russian VDV BTRD vehicle running over a mine. Is that what that said? I don't read Russian. So that news said news by the sea?
Уже несколько лет.
So that would be in the Crimean Peninsula then. Let's see what these other links are to then. No. Oh, here's where it came from. It's all in Russian. So that said news by the sea on there. So that would be Crimea then. Training in Crimea. Okay. Video reportedly showing Russian artillery strikes and targeting Ukrainian troops who were setting up a cable crossing the Severodonetsk River. Not clear if there were any casualties. Again, here's the Severodonetsk River over by Severodonetsk and Lysychansk. Lysychansk. It separates these two cities. The Severodonetsk River. There's the river. You got a guy in the tree line. They got a boat across. Oh. That was a strike right in the middle of the river there. Another one. Video reportedly showing Russian artillery strikes targeting Ukrainian troops who were setting up cable crossing across the Severodonetsk River. Not clear if there was any casualties. Video of one of the Ukrainian helicopter resupply missions in Mariupol. Ukrainian helicopter resupply mission. No music allowed. Smash the like button if you guys have not done so. Make sure you guys have subscribed and followed the page. Go ahead and drop a comment where you're watching from. What city, what state? Shout out where you're tuned in from. I'm streaming from the Twin Cities in Minnesota. So in the Midwest in the United States. Helicopter resupply video in the city of Mariupol. We got Chi-Town tuned in. Colville, Washington, Flyover County. Croatia, Melbourne, Western New York. Hello from Renton, Washington, Houston, Texas. South Pacific, good to have you. Anchor Point, Alaska. I miss Alaska. Actually, I dream about it all the time. Sometimes it's nightmares. I got sent away at the age of 19, lived there for 4 years. I'm not a small town person, but I mean, I got used to it. All right, hold on. The audio here in this part. All right, I got some audio here.
Максимальний професіоналізм українських льотчиків. Тому що в ніяких падіннях Чорного Яструба ніколи американці не дозволяли собі там так входити на більш ніж 100 кілометрів в глибоко ешелоновану систему ППО при повітряному патрулюванні винищувачів ворога в повітрі і так далі, то таких операцій ніколи в історії людства не було.
That said Azov. It's an Azov leader from the Azov battalion. One of the Ukrainian helicopter resupply missions in Mariupol. Ukrainian paratroopers ambushed a Russian MTLB from an engineering unit. You got a MTLB there. Ooh, missing its treads. Missing its treads on the driver's side. You can see the Z on the front. Station in Alaska is almost as bad as Greenland. Listen, all I'm saying is when I saw the valley in the airplane, I'd be like, oh man, I'm stuck here for another year. Because you only go home about one time a year living in Alaska. Crazy footage of Russian T-72B3 running over 2 anti-tank mines before being struck, presumably by artillery and destroyed. Remarkably, the crew seems to have survived. So, Russian T-72B3 running over 2 anti-tank mines. Okay. What they got? Dang. I'd say it ran over it all right. We got Toronto, Canada tuned in. Out in the buggy woods of up north Michigan. Hello from Minneapolis. How you doing, Ann? Corpus Christi. See, then you got a subsequent artillery strike on it afterwards. Dang, dude. I think the dude was outside the hatch too. Yeah. What? He was like outside of the. He was like on the hatch, like while the tank got blown up. He's fine, apparently. Oh, never mind. Whoops. Oh wow, that one missed him too. How the? What? So he survived the tank hitting the mine, and our dude, get off the tank. Like, at that point, why are you still on the tank? You survived the mine, and then you survived the artillery strike, and you're still standing on the tank. What is your problem? Then it's hit again. It's unclear if the what are the. Let's look. I'll look at the description again. He's on his phone, trying to make a TikTok, probably. Nope. Well, I'm not sure if he made it or not. Definitely cheated death a couple times in the video alone. 2 anti-tank mines before being struck by artillery, and it says remarkably the crew seems to have survived. Let's look at that one more time. You missed it. Probably in shock. I thought for sure he got hit that on the Russian soldier got hit there when the artillery strike hit the tank. It's a miraculous the tank survived this, right? And it's still operable. Damn, not till that point. And you can see the dude in the turret. There's like someone in the turret right here. Just almost got launched out of the tank. And not only that, he's like standing on top of it after this, and then it's hit with an artillery strike. Look at this, 2 of them. Oh, he's on his phone. It looked like he is on the phone. God dang! And then they survived that too, dude. What? Wow. Whatever. And then the top is gonna cook off too. The top pops off. I don't know how. It just took a direct hit to the side. It just didn't even phase him. The top's gonna cook off and blow off now though. Why are they like right? I guess that's probably the safest place to be, next to the tank, so you're not getting hit. But thing's about to blow up. And then there's the rest of it gets blown up. Oh. Stunning footage there. Stunning video that was. Couldn't believe the dude survived that. Wow. The video of the Russian T-72B3 tank running over one of the mines. The final strike was likely from an ATGM or RPG. Yeah. That was the rocket strike on the side of it. First part of the video showing the T-72B3 tank firing on Ukrainian positions and moving back to a cold position. This is the first part of it. That was it. That was the video. And then the second part, and then it runs over the mine. Russian Mi-24 helicopter reportedly in the Severodonetsk area. Here's Severodonetsk on our map. Zoom out. It's in the Donbass. Northeast of Donetsk. It'll be to the northwest of Luhansk. Got music in it. Again, an Mi-24 helicopter. Hope you guys all join us this evening for late night video games afterwards. Just to do a different type of content. I do stream gaming content if you're interested. It'll be right after the stream's over. Well, 15 minutes or so after the stream's over. Snack Squad TV on YouTube. We're growing our audience. It's getting bigger and bigger. More viewers from the news streams are coming on over. So welcome again. Just welcome everybody that joins the Snack Squad TV channel and tunes in late at night with us. Thank you so much. Russian Mi-8 AM TSH and Mi-28N helicopters in Luhansk reportedly from May 28th. Why are you doing old video? All right. May 28th. Helicopters. Big helicopter battles in the east. Big helicopter battles. Russian Ka-52 helicopters in the Donbass. That's the Ka-52 Alligator. It has the dual rotors on it.
Давайте, парни, оттуда, съебывайте, блядь, нахуй. А почему опасно? Выстрелили, да?
Да, вот смотри,
взяли на
разрыв внизу.
мушку.
Видишь, он разрыв внизу.
Вон они, два разрыва внизу, да.
Посадки.
3 даже. Блядь, ну почему? Вот тоже работа у них, да, блядь? Вылетел и хуй знает, вернется или нет, бля, ебать.
Бля, ну сука, я всегда хотел быть вертолетчиком.
So again, that's Ka-52 helicopters in Donbass. Then we got Russian Ka-52 reportedly near Popasna. In the Donbass, Popasna, the city that Wagner military group seized. Took that picture with the saxophone. Reportedly near Popasna. Here we got Russian Su-25 aircraft over Kherson. So Popasna again here in the Donbass. Now we're working into Kherson on the map. Southern axes. All right, next we got Russian trucks with improvised armor. We got the Russian flag spray painted over the V. Ooh, this one's super cope armored out. Look at that. They have the Cam AZ truck behind it with a AA gun on the top. Look at that. Some cope armor on there. Video of the Don Cossack detachment in the Izium area with several destroyed or captured Ukrainian vehicles, including T-64 BV tanks and a Russian T-80. The Don Cossack detachment. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the Don Cossack detachment is. I looked that up. What on earth is that? Oh wow. So it's a people. They're a people. Nope. That. I guess it no. My file couldn't be accessed. What you mean? Come on now. There we go. Don Cossacks or the Donians are Cossacks. What does that mean? The Cossacks are a predominantly East Slavic Orthodox Christian people group originating in the steppes of Ukraine and Russia. They were a semi-nomadic and semi-militarized people who, under the nominal suzerainty of various Eastern European states at the time. Okay. There are people. Regions with significant populations in Russia. Volgograd Oblasts. They speak a dialect of Ukrainian. Wow. More than 2,000 years ago, the Scythians, or the Scyths, also known as the Saka, the Sake, were living in an ancient nomadic people. Lived on the banks of the river Don. Many Scythian tombs are found in this area. Okay, I'm just trying to see the relevance to 20th century. On the eve, here we go. On the eve of World War I, the Don Cossack host comprised 17 regular regiments plus 6 detached Sotnias squadrons. In addition, 2 regiments of the Imperial Guard were recruited from the Don territory. By 1916, the Don host had expanded to 58 line regiments and 100 detached Sotnias. Wow. Don Cossacks in World War II. On April 20th, 1936, a previous ban on Cossacks serving in the Red Army was lifted. Might need a video on this one. You might need a video on the Don Cossack detachment in the Izium area. I never even heard of that. It's like a World War I video. Again, predominantly East Slavic Orthodox Christian. That's a Cossack. Predominantly East Slavic Orthodox Christian. Okay. Video of Stugna P ATGM strike by Ukraine's 58th Motorized Infantry Brigade.
9. Ну, той стороны не может быть нашим. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Если подойдут тому, блядь, этому, понял?
Соберутся, то будем по ним работать.
Пострел! Ниже, плавно, ниже, вот так, держи. Вот так, держи. Чуть правее этим.
Четко.
Вот так, держи. Вот так, все. Пускай.
Oh, John with a big $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much for the super chats, and everybody on Facebook. Thank you for this, the stars as well. You guys don't know how much that helps significantly. The super chats and the stars. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much, John. Video of artillery strikes on Russian vehicles by Ukraine's 45th Artillery Brigade. Ukraine's 45th does they do the video editing stuff. I'm not sure if they have a copyrighted song with this. Yeah, this is Ukraine's 45th compilation. Oh, they got it. Yeah, that's Ukraine's 45th Artillery Brigade strikes on Russian vehicles. Oh. It's the same area. This is likely to the east in the Donbass, with all of the holes in the ground you can see from other artillery shellings. Here we have video of a Stugna P ATGM on a Russian armored vehicle. No, these are all UAV videos. You can see they ran out to the right of the screen. Play that back again. After the strike, you could see the silhouette. There's more. And go back. You saw the silhouettes. Super potato quality, but you can definitely see people. There it is on its way. Stugna P. And hit. And then you see the people run into the side. Very potato quality. Going to the next video. Russian TOS-1 Alpha. Thermobaric multiple launch rocket system fire in the Kherson Oblast. Kherson Oblast is here. Or the city of Kherson. The Oblast extends outside of it, but this is the region that we're looking at here in the video. No audio. You can see strikes. The thermobaric rocket fire leaves that extra layer of smoke because it's got like flamethrower rounds in them. Video reportedly of Russian incendiary munitions used on Ukrainian positions in the Donbass.
Нихуя себе, блядь.
So those are incendiary munitions used in the Donbass. All right, that concludes the war. Now let's go to the latest top clips on Ukraine's war report in Reddit. Again, like the video if you guys haven't done so. This will be the last segment of the stream. I do hope you join us afterwards for gaming streams. We're playing Metal Gear Solid franchise. This is obviously the first one if you recognize it. We're on Metal Gear Solid 5 right now in the timeline. But that will be immediately after the stream is over. Just stay in the chat on YouTube to get sent right into the gaming stream. And if you're watching on Facebook, head over to the YouTube channel Snack Squad TV to tune in after the stream completes. Footage released by Ukraine Army about helicopters while facing the odds resupplying in Mariupol. We saw that video. This is the resupply in Mariupol video. So anything that we might have missed. Russian TV and its propaganda. The end of the special operation in Ukraine and the beginning of World War III. Now the demilitarization of all of NATO is in the pipeline. Excuse me. This is from Russian state TV.
Спецоперация России на Украине.
Excuse me?
Началась сам.
More time. Used to run RT, Russia Today. It used to be the Russia Today, or I don't know, used to, but she probably still is, the Russia Today lady. All of NATO demilitarized. Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. Snack. Here we got mini Russians taking okay, can't show that. Don't show POWs unless they're on trial. Like he's not really a. Would you consider that young Russian soldier that's on trial a POW though? He's like in a court trial for war crimes, so that's a little different. But actual prisoners of war we don't show. Oh, here we go. Someone asked the other day on the update of how the hell Malcolm Nance in Ukraine from MSNBC, former U.S. Navy senior chief in Ukraine, tells what it's like if you volunteer to fight in Foreign Legion. So someone had asked how the hell Malcolm Nance is doing. He gave a podcast, it looks like.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm frankly a little starstruck to have Malcolm Nance here. I'll fanboy for a second. I've read your book, sir.
Thanks. I'm finally up and awake.
Yes.
Well, let's just rephrase that. I'm finally up. I've been awake forever because it's sort of hard to sleep in Ukraine. It's not because I'm anywhere on the front. I'm actually running back and forth, supporting the Legion Battalion all over the country. So it's crazy out here. But I actually will be on the front soon for all the naysayers who keep who think that the entire Ukrainian war is being fought just in one section of the country. It's not. I mean, the place I was at last night or yesterday, we got hit with 5 cruise missiles. That was fun.
So again, Malcolm Nance from MSNBC is fighting with the Foreign Legion. He announced that months ago. We haven't really heard from anything about that until this post here from 9 hours ago. He gave a whole podcast. If you're interested, I suppose I'll share that link to our Discord server. You don't have an hour and a half to listen to Malcolm, but shared it to the Discord if you're interested. Here we got Ukrainian town clearing operations. Some more video from the Kraken unit. That Kraken Special Forces unit that's clearing villages and regaining territory for Ukrainians. Oh, this video is like 10 minutes long. I'm gonna grab my safety meeting pen.
Да, блядь, надо выйти, я же работаю. Да как нахуй канистра это, блядь, не работает?
Пизда, пацаны.
Почему?
Вот это
Подожди, какой нахуй ходить, блядь?
Oh, the video is blank. What the hell happened? Hold on, let me fix. Alright, we're good. I'll start it over. I don't know why the thing went blank. Are we good now? We're good. Alright. I fixed it. You guys see now? Again, this is the Kraken Special Forces unit for the Ukrainians that are recapturing villages and towns.
Да, блядь, надо выйти, я же работаю. Да как нахуй канистра это, блядь, не работает?
Ну, пизда, пацаны.
Почему?
Вот это.
Подожди, какой нахуй выходить, блядь?
Давай, блядь, возьму пацанов, пройдем, зачистим.
Давай остановимся, на ней зачистим.
Yeah, and these are Ukrainians. They got the blue. Oh man, safety meeting got me there. The blue on their shoulders, blue and yellow and green are Ukrainians.
Рассредоточились и идем туда. Тигр пошел за ними быстро. Да, пошли. Пехота, доходите, понятно? КамАЗ. Чуть позже стянешься. Пехота, сейчас выдвигайтесь.
С какой стороны?
Давай, держи.
Давай. Пошли.
Буровец от следующего 300 метров нахуй. Пусть гранатометчики выйдут.
Огонь! Нормально, сзади.
Жека!
So just judging upon like what they're wearing, and I've seen some snow on the ground. This looks like, I mean, we haven't seen this yet, and it's video being put together now. But this looks like it was from the end, like when springtime was starting. And it's summertime now. Can you believe 100 days, nearly, damn near 100 days since the invasion? But this was early when they were clearing the soldiers out of the northeastern region by Sumy and Kharkiv.
Помоги парням!
Oh, we're not done yet, Rick. You're good. We just started it.
Я держу ноги. Держи.
Голову держи, голову.
Все хорошо.
Голову.
Все хорошо.
Посмотри, медичка встреть.
Лево, все нормально.
Окклюзионку. Ногу второй раз. Ногу смотри.
Oh, wow.
Все хорошо.
Вторая целая? Забинтовать. Отойди.
Tactical combat casualty care. Oh, it's not TC3 anymore. It's CLS.
Работаем. Да.
Славная русская армия.
So yeah, this is for sure from March, April compilation, because that all those Russians on the ground. That was one of the big viral video that came out at the time. Trisha, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for becoming a member of Mercado Media. Fast forwarding through the POW parts. again, what you're seeing here is a Ukrainian Special Forces unit called the Kraken Unit, liberating towns and villages during the invasion. This was during the early on days of the invasion. You can tell by what they're wearing. It looks cold outside. There's snow on the ground. There isn't any leaves on the trees. The most recent Kraken video we saw was from a couple weeks ago that showed the more recent liberations.
Рачок на подходе.
Рачок, там человек 5 наших. Связать руки и выдвинуть их из поля. И чтобы они кричали: пацаны, сдавайте.
Пацаны, Орлан!
Угу. О.
Медик! Кого 300, блядь?
Imagine having to liberate your own cities in your own territory, in your own country.
Медики, белый течек, возвращаются к ПТРу.
Он бегает тут. Где?
Ёб твою мать!
Хорошо!
Хорош. Давай, блядь.
Oh my goodness, Martin with a $50 super chat. How many Ukrainian casualties have there been? I will look that up for you right now. I will look that up.
Летит еще.
Готовьтесь в очередь.
However, the losses among Ukrainian civilians are significant, and the United Nations has recorded 2,729 civilian deaths among Ukrainians related to the violence. Okay, so here you go. Russia's death toll outpaces that of the Ukrainian military. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told reporters about 2,500 to 3,000 soldiers have been killed. Likely a more reliable figure than the 14,000 Ukrainian troops Russia said it had killed on March 25th. Russia hasn't put out numbers in quite some time. Their own numbers. NATO estimated last month about 7,000 to 15,000 Russian troops have died, and said Monday 21,900 Russian troops have been killed. So you got 21,900 Russian troops dead, and about 2,500 to 3,000 Ukrainian soldiers in terms of losses. So here's from Zelensky. Finally, we have the specifics about the European Union's 6 sanctions on Russia for this war. The package was agreed. Its approval and entry into force will take some time, but the key elements of the package are already clear, and most importantly in the direction on May 31st.
Усі наші захисники і захисниці. Нарешті маємо конкретику щодо 6-го санкційного пакету Європейського
European Union sixth sanctions package.
Союзу проти Росії за цю війну. Пакет погоджено. Його затвердження і набрання ним чинності триватиме ще деякий час, але вже зрозумілі ключові елементи пакету, а головне його напрямок. Європейські країни погодились на значне обмеження імпорту нафти з Росії, і я вдячний усім, хто працював для досягнення цієї згоди. Практичний результат – це мінус десятки мільярдів євро, які Росія тепер не зможе направити на фінансування терору. Але важливо розуміти також і те, що відмова європейських країн від російської нафти та від іншого викопного палива прискорить перехід на відновлювальні джерела енергії. Стратегічно це залишає російську державу на узбіччі сучасної економіки. З такою агресивною політикою та курсом на ізоляцію від цивілізованого світу Росія просто не зможе адаптуватись, а отже програє економічно. Очікуємо також відключення одного з найбільших російських банків – Сбербанку від СВІФТу в рамках 6-го санкційного пакету. Нарешті припинення мовлення російських дезінформаційних каналів в Європі та нові персональні санкції.
Shutting down Russian media across Europe. I'm guessing that's Russia Today, RT.
Будемо працювати і над новими обмеженнями проти Росії за цю війну. Як тільки запрацює 6-й пакет, одразу почнемо готувати 7-й. Зрештою, не повинно залишитись жодних суттєвих економічних відносин вільного світу з державою-терористом. Подальшу санкційну політику Європейського Союзу обговорив з президенткою Словаччини Зузанною Чапутовою. Я вдячний їй, нашому справжньому другу України, за сьогоднішній візит в Київ, за предметні переговори і за надихаючий виступ у Верховній Раді України. Словаччина з перших днів повномасштабної війни стала одним з наших найважливіших партнерів в оборонній сфері. І будемо продовжувати цю співпрацю.
So again, this is President Zelensky. We don't need to listen to the whole thing. The package was agreed. Its approval and entry into force will take some time, but the key elements of the package are already clear, and most importantly, the direction. We watched a lot of these war clips already. Here is life of Ukrainian soldiers on the front line. Life of Ukrainian soldiers on the front line. The Ukrainian military can arrange a luxury room in the middle of the forest and wash clothes and a glass of water.
Слава Ісусу Христу, навіки слава Богу. Добрий ранок вам, шановне товариство, українське, гуцули, ціла наша Україна, хлопчики, на передовій вам добра здоров'я. Я сам з собою люблю з розумними людьми поговорити. Це нас сплять готель Яленка. Готель Яленка, номер називається Дубочок. Наступний хлопець спить в готелі Яленка. Номер називається у нього Сосонка. Це наша кухня. Буде ранкова кава. О. Це косівський гуцул. Закутався від комарів. Дивіться, що з людиною робить комар. Мало що дихає. Він живий, не переживайте. Це наш козак. Добре здоров'я. А там мажори сплять. Зараз будемо...
You said this with the wealthy sleep. Now we will drink our morning coffee.
А там сплять мажори. Верховенські. Отак. Файно віддихають. Це взагалі номер люкс. Тобто не. Отак. Ну і все, добра здоров'я вам, всього найкращого. Любіть, будьте коханими, кохайте. Добра здоров'я вам, були нам файні, дуже та емоції.
Коротше, дивіться, товариші, лайфхак, як напередку...
How you wash clothes on the front line.
Чисто на жопу помыть и вещи постирать. Ему и вообще...
На передовой.
Да. Можно просто копать, можно так. Я так уже пишу, что я постирал. Все, погнал дальше. Тобі тут води хватить і борщ сварить, і жопу помыть, і товарища покупать и орков топить.
So again, this is just Ukrainian soldiers just trying to make light out of
Це наш козак.
trying to make light out of a bad situation. Trying to make it, they said that's their hotels and their luxury living areas using the hammock in the woods. So I think I'm going to leave it there. We'll go down more video again tomorrow. We went through a lot of video tonight and everything that we missed. But if you want to know what the key, let me get this here. The key updates one last time. And I do recommend you rewind and go to the beginning of the stream if you just tuned in late to get the full breakdown of where the lines are shifting in the war, where the Russians are at, where the Ukrainians are, where the counteroffensives are. But again, here's the key takeaways. Russian forces are increasingly focused on advancing on Sloviansk from the southeast of Izium and west of Liman. Russian forces are making gains within and around Severodonetsk. Russian forces are likely hoping to advance on Lysychansk on Torivka in order to avoid having to fight across the Severodonetsk River in Severodonetsk. The Russian grouping in Kherson Oblast is likely feeling the pressure of the limited Ukrainian counteroffensive in northwestern Kherson Oblast, especially as much of the Russian operational focus is currently on the capture of Severodonetsk. So, again, fighting. So if you want to know where the fighting is before you go to bed at night, so you know it's in Kherson, between Mykolaiv and Kherson in the southern axes. It's here in the Donbass, in this cauldron here. Severodonetsk is about 50 to 70% captured in Russian controlled, Russian occupied territory. So that will likely be full on red here soon in the coming days. And then up here in the north in Kharkiv, but that isn't going well for the Russians at all. It's not going well for the Russians here in the northeast, and it's not going well for the Russians here in the southern axes. They've put all their eggs in the Donbass, and that's why you see incremental gains by the Russians in these villages. But beyond that, again, Ukraine is regaining villages to the south and the southern axes in Kherson, and then in the northeast in Kharkiv, in the northeast Donbass. All right. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. If you wanted the full breakdown, again, just rewind to the start of the stream, and we'll do a whole breakdown at the start of it. Thank you guys again for choosing Mercado Media, independent media, as your source for the war in Ukraine. I'm your host, Andrew Mercado. Make sure you've liked the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Consider becoming a member of the YouTube channel. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats and the super stickers and the stars. All of that helps me continue doing what I'm doing without having to pick up a second job, which I might have to eventually anyways, which is fine. Pick up a second job to continue doing this. I did it in 2021. I'll do it again, so it's no big deal. But that, I'm letting y'all know that your support helps me continue doing this without having to do that. But no big deal if I have to pick up a second job. Thank you so much for choosing independent media. That's just what it takes, being independent media out here. We don't have corporate dollars, corporate money. Just got an awesome moderator team. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to everybody that helps with the pages behind the scenes. Thank you to everybody that it just follows the page. Even if you're not a member or a supporter, if you haven't sent a dime, thank you so much for tuning in. That's the best thing I could ask for you to tune into an independent media source and not a mainstream news source. So you don't even have to send me any money. I'm just glad that you're choosing Mercado Media as your source. I'll be live again tomorrow. Hopefully the verdict for the Johnny Depp trial is tomorrow. It wasn't today, so that's why there wasn't any Johnny Depp update or Amber Heard trial update. So hopefully tomorrow. But if not, I hope you guys join us immediately after this stream for Metal Gear Solid playthrough. Metal Gear Solid 5 on Snack Squad TV live. Give me 10-15 minutes. I'm gonna have a safety meeting and then we're starting back up. It's how I'm able to unwind after this coverage and go to bed at night. I play some video games to whoever's interested. We talk about the daily coverage or anything you want to know about me. I read the chat. I can learn about you. Sometimes the chat's talking about, I don't even know. Last stream they were talking about some other thing. The chat does the chat and then I play the game. So even if you're not into video games, it's an awesome chat to interact with. You don't even need to watch the game if you're not into video games. But I find that you'll enjoy the video game a lot because Metal Gear Solid is an amazing franchise and it directly correlates with some of these current events that are happening today. So if you've never seen a video game before and you'd like to tune into one, it's a good one to tune into for your first one. And again, the storytelling around it is relates to the current nuclear situation and the current events in the world. That's tailored around that story. All right. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Have a wonderful evening. Tune in on Snack Squad TV. Subscribe, like the video. I'll be live again tomorrow, night 98. Have a good night. Take care.